Okay, so today we are going to be moving on in our modules. So we're starting with Module 2, Lesson 1 today. Your objective today is going to be that you will be able to multiply, again, multi-digit, that means more than one digit in the number, and whole numbers, so no decimals today, by multiples of 10. And a multiple of 10 is like 10, 100, 1,000. So those are multiples of 10. So we're going to start off with some simple ones and then we'll move on. So if you write the number 4 times 30. So what we're going to do is we're going to ignore our 0 for right now. And we're just going to think, what is 4 times 3? And I can count by 4s and I could count by 3s. And 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to put 12. And then remember, because we are multiplying by a 10, I have to remember to add my 0 back in over here at the end. So remember, this is 4 times 3 tens. Well, that would be then 12 tens or 120 when we think about it that way. So this is a multiple of 10, right? Anything that has 0 in are ones, tens, hundreds, and so forth. Same number I can, or same digits. I'm going to add now a 0 onto the end of the 4. I'm going to do 40 times 30. Well, again, I'm going to not think of my 2 zeros there. I'm just going to think 4 times 3 is again 12. And now this time, because there's tens times tens is hundreds, that means I need to add 2 zeros over here. So if I have 2 zeros here, I need to have 2 zeros over here in my answer. And right, if we did 10 times 10 would equal 100. The 2 zeros represent 100. The 1 0 represents a 10. If I were to make the number even larger, I could say, well, what is 40 times 300? And again, we're going to ignore our zeros for right now. So we're going to ignore that 0, the 0, and 0. And I'm going to think 4 times 3 is 12. And then because I have tens times hundreds, which is thousands, which means 3 zeros. So remember back to that rule and pattern we've talked about all year, where 1 equals 10, 2 equals 100, and 3 equals 1,000. So that means I would add 3 zeros onto the end. And then I would count back and add my comma. So my answer would be 12,000. And we can keep on with this pattern. I could add and make this a 4,000. 1, 2, 3 times 30. So I can change even where my zeros, how many are on each side. So now I have 3 zeros over here, 4. I'm still going to think, well, what is 4 times 3? 12. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros total. So I need to add 4 zeros onto the back of this. Count up, 1, 2, 3, put my comma. So my answer is 120,000. Okay, so let's try a different set of digits now. So let's start with 60 times 5. So this one's going to be a little bit trickier. Sometimes this extra 0 can get in our way. So again, I'm going to ignore the 0 for right now, and I'm going to think, what is 6 times 5? You can count by 5s. I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I know I'm going to put a 30. Now be careful. This 0 does not count for the zeros that I'm going to add. That's the 6 times 5. I still need to add 1 extra 0 onto the end. So I still need to bring this all the way over here. Okay? So let's try this again. Let's do now, how about 60 times 50? Again, I'm going to ignore my 2 zeros. I'm going to think 6 times 5 is 30. This 0 goes with the 30, so I cannot count it as the extra zeros I'm going to add. I have to bring 1 extra 0 over here from this number and 1 extra 0 over here from this number. So my new answer is now 3,000. So you have to be careful on these ones where the actual multiplication problem ends in a 0. Let's get maybe a little bit bigger here. Let's do 60 times 500. Okay, again, 6 times 5 is 30. That 0 is not a part of the zeros we're going to bring over. I'm going to bring over a 0 from here. I'm going to bring over a 0 from here. And I'm going to bring a 0 over from here. And then I'm going to count back. So my answer is 30,000. Okay, so that is how we are going to do our zeros today. We're going to do one more with a little bit harder. What if my number was 451 times 8? So a little bit harder. So we're going to go a little bit bigger today now. Well, first I'm going to have to stack this one up because that is a large number and I don't have any zeros. So I'm going to stack it up this way. I'm going to say 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry my 4. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 4 is 36. Sorry, 6. So I know this is my answer. Okay, so sorry, we had to cut that back in. So we just did our multiplication, 3,608. So now what I can do is I can say 451 times 80. So if you had that as your actual problem, you can remember, forget the zero, write it like that, and then do your math. So I already know, I've already done that, 608. Now I'm just going to add my extra zero onto the end there. That means my comma will move. And it'll be, let me rewrite that again, 36,080. And I could do it again, right? I could do 451 added, so 4,000 times 80. And then I would know I throw 608. And now I'm going to add two zeros, 1 and 2. So my new number is 360,800.